As a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and a practicing biologist, Dr. Jensen offers many perspectives for both the Latter-day Saint and other Christians to consider.
Where do Adam and Eve fit in? Let me first start with a couple statements by leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. First, President Spencer W. Kimball stated, quote, "The creators breathed into their nostrils the breath of life, and man and woman became living souls. We don't know exactly how their coming into the world happened, and when we're able to understand it, the Lord will tell us," end quote. In a recent New Era article, it states, "The Church has no official position on the theory of evolution. Organic evolution, or changes to species' inherited traits over time, is a matter for scientific study. Nothing has been revealed concerning evolution. Though the details of what happened on Earth before Adam and Eve, including how their bodies were created, have not been revealed, our teachings regarding man's origin are clear and come from revelation. Before we were born on Earth, we were spirit children of heavenly parents with bodies in their image. God directed the creation of Adam and Eve and placed their spirits in their bodies," end quote. So how did their bodies come about? The first presidency, then under the direction of President Joseph F. Smith, offered the following possibilities. Quote, "Whether the mortal bodies of man evolved in natural processes to present perfection through the direction and power of God," so that's one. "Whether the first parents of our generation, Adam and Eve, were transplanted from another sphere with immortal tabernacles which became corrupted through sin and the partaking of natural foods in the process of time," that's two. "Whether they were born here in mortality," that's three, "as other mortals have been, are questions not fully answered in the revealed Word of God," end quote. So that leaves us with a lot of possibilities, right? So were Adam and Eve a special case of creation in the garden? Maybe. Were they transplanted from some other sphere to the garden? Possibly. Did they emerge through evolution that was divinely directed? Perhaps. Science cannot test these hypotheses. Science tells us that there were many hominid species that lived on Earth prior to our species. You can see some of them there. Science tells us that the best explanation for our history is that we evolved, that we share common ancestry with Homo naledi and Neanderthal and Floresiensis and chimps and all of life on Earth. That's what science tells us through the data. What does our religion tell us? Well, a lot of things. We know that our first parents were Adam and Eve, and that they were divinely created in some way, directed by God to be our first parents, that they are in the image of God, that we are in the image of God, that before we came here to earth, we lived in heaven as spirit children of God, and that we came down and got bodies. We know all these things to be true. We know that we're here on earth with a purpose, right? That we are meant to be here to experience mortality in whatever form that requires, right? We know that we're children of God. Now, when and how we got these bodies is really irrelevant to our divine ancestry. Now, whether evolution is part of our story or not does not change these gospel truths. But in my opinion, it's super fun to study the evolution of our species, to study our family history, and to kind of catch little glimpses of how God might have done things